Hey everyone, welcome back to Gluttons for Geekdom Live. I am Nick James, and today, if you couldn't tell by the new backdrop, we're going to be talking about, wait for it, we're going to go into the Star Wars universe. That's right, guys. You want to know what's been going on, what we're going to do? Let's talk about it. Everybody's talking about it. Just 10 days. Just 10 days from now, we're going to get Star Wars, a Star Wars story, Rogue One, a Star Wars story, however you want to say it. And it's going to be freaking awesome. I am so pumped for this movie. Star Wars to me, if you listen to Gluttons for Geekdom, if you go to Podbean or iTunes and you download the episodes, if you hear us talk about Star Wars, or me specifically, it's like my friends. I would come home and hey, it's Luke, Leia, and Han, and these are my friends. I know them. And so to get back into there, it's going to be great. This is going to be the first one in a brand new kind of line of off-universe, if you will. Because after this, no, not after this, excuse me, but the next off-universe movie, I should say, is going to be the Han Solo. And that's going to be really great. That has Alden Ehrenreich in it. Ehrenreich? Alden Ehrenreich, who's going to be Han Solo. We got Danny Glover, who was just announced not too long ago. He's going to be Lando Calrissian before they're up in this Sky City. You know what I'm talking about. I like the backstory. I want to hear more about that. If you can't tell, Millennium Falcon, I want to see that freaking card game because that's going to be sweet. To have the card game that won him, maybe find out what the Kessel Run was and see how it did in under 12 parsecs. That's right. Oof, such a great day to be nerd dropping Star Wars. I just get excited from it. Now we're going to get a brand new movie. And it came out. It'll be actually 2 days less than 1 year, 363 days. Star Wars Episode 7, Force Awakens, came out 12/15/17. And this one we're going to get 12/16/16. So no, it's 1 day. Sorry, math, So we've waited only about a year. And that's great. And it's really funny to see kids on the message boards now, and they're like, it's almost been a year since I got a new Star Wars. I need it. It's like, oh man, growing up, there was only 4, 5, and 6. I waited for 1, 2, and 3. And I was thinking about the whole time I was setting this up in my head, what I was going to talk about, what I want to talk about, rather than dive in, is that I caught 1, 2, and 3 at a perfect time. I was a young kid. It came out 01 on, so I was 11. So, they showed they showed da, ba-da-da, it was the same thing to me. Somebody sat there and went. So, growing up, they were cemented in my head as something awesome. And I think that's kind of saved me because a lot of the older Star Wars fans, the real diehard fans, the ones who waited for 4, 5, and 6 and saw those originally in theaters, get a little butthurt when talking about the new trilogy. They don't really like it. They don't like the director's cuts. For me, though, growing up into that world, it was magical because I had the original DVD or VHSs, my father did. And then when they redid them and George Lucas went in there and touched everything up, I thought it was magic. I thought it was the Force itself that caused that to happen, to change. So that's really got a little lost there. See, I nerded out so hard. I hit my own brakes. So to have this be a year later, it's awesome. It's only going to be 1 year, so we're going to get this one right now, like I'm saying. By the way, it's going to star Felicity Jones, Diego Luna, Mads Mikkelsen, Alit Tudyk, and Riz Ahmed. We're going to get what's the boy's name? My goodness. James Earl Jones. Excuse me for forgetting for a second. How can you forget? The baddest, darkest voice in the galaxy. He's going to come back and do the Vader. And speaking of, before I finish up on Rogue One, I was watching Comic Book Now, 1 o'clock every day. Brandon B.D. Davis, awesome, cool guy, does his something similar, but he keeps up with current news. And I thought this was worth dropping. I'm not trying to steal a shtick or nothing. Something I didn't notice is that the Darth Vader suit changes in episodes 4, 5, 6, and then when it comes back in 3. And this one's going to look similar to 4, but shinier like it was in 5. It was this very detailed thing. So tonight I'm going to go through, watch 4, 5, and 6, and really see how much it changes. Apparently, the light bright chest, if you will, changes. The sheen of his actual helmet. The design doesn't change, but just, I guess, what it's made of, how they went about making it changed. So I thought that was cool. I'm excited to see. I mean, really, I personally think that Gareth Edwards got kind of a better deal, if you will, because J.J. Abrams got to bring back the franchise, but Gareth gets to play with the characters from old. He got to pick up the Darth Vader Darth Vader figure from the sandbox, if you will, of the Star Wars, and he gets to play with it now, It's going to be a new Darth Vader. It's not a new one, but a more Darth Vader, I should say. Vader. Fucking Vader. Freaking sorry. It's going to be so good. But that guy did the Godzilla movie. I didn't really love the Godzilla movie. I did not like it, so I thought it looked good. Just story-wise, all I remember is, let them fight. So I saw them fight, yeah, and they fought. It was awesome. I liked it. So after Rogue One, but before Han Solo is... I swear that never happens. Han Solo is going to be May 25th, 2018. We're going to get Star Wars Episode 8, which is 12, 15, 17. Oh, I did the math wrong before. I was right the first time. We get this 2 days before a year. 12, 15, 17. Rian Johnson gets his choice at Star Wars Episode 8. Excuse me. Little is known about it. Last I really checked in on it, what was going to happen was this. Not the blue part that I can't make disappear. This was going all like, with Ray, like, take it. And Luke was all like, I remember that. Which, again, if you go back, Gluttons for Geekdom, watch or listen to the podcast. We had an awesome guest, Rick Classic, Bobby Deuce, John Boy, and myself. That night was one of the best nights to actually geek out in my life because we watched episode 7 and talked about what we were going to talk about, and then we rewatched it while re-podcasting. We watched it back to back, and if you listen to the end of the podcast, you can hear us, or Black there hear us, but because we're going... We got sucked right back into it, just staring at that screen. It was awesome. But go back and watch it. But how can you not get jolted, With Luke just standing there like, take it, look, it's your lightsaber. Who's not excited for that, So episode 8, I saw another really great post, it's Rey, Daisy, Ridley, and she's getting all pumped up, and Finn is getting all pumped up, and then it's Poe Dameron, like, eating bagels or something. And it's just like, yeah, Poe Dameron. He was supposed to actually not make it through the crash back on Jakku. Spoiler if you don't know, but it's been out for a long time. You should know. He wasn't supposed to, but everybody's like, wow, this guy, Oscar Isaacs, we like him. So he got put back into it just because of that. That trifecta of actors, they made that. It's... I gotta calm down. I'm forgetting I'm having an audience because that's how excited Star Wars gets me. It's just, I know those guys, So I really just can't wait for that. Speaking of Han Solo, something I left off there, we got up to Donald Glover, and then I got really excited about the Parsecs. Emilia Clarke. If you're Game of Thrones people, Game of Thrones, awesome. She is the mother of dragons. And she's just been put in. She doesn't have a character name. But she's going to be awesome in it too, So right now, Felicity Jones is who's going to be starring in Rogue One, 10 days. Then we have Emilia Clarke and, Daisy Ridley. They have such a strong female presence, but yet they don't kind of come off as like, it's not forced down your throat either. And I think that Donald Glover and Alden Ehrenreich will do the same as Poe Dameron and Finn did. And they'll it's so positive on all ends, Disney got it. We're going to do good. We're going to do magic with this. And I can't personally wait for more. I've got my tickets already. Hopefully everybody out there, and I'd personally like to take the second Fandango. Thank you very much, because if you watch older footage of, like I said, the original, the OG Obi-Wans, if you will, had to sleep in tents outside of movie theaters and stuff like that. I wouldn't do that. I couldn't sleep in a tent outside of a movie theater. So Fandango, thank you very much. Last thing I want to touch on before we go, if you want to get even more into Star Wars than more than just the cinematic, there's a book, How Star Wars Took Over the Universe. It's awesome. I audibled it because we love Audible. If not, you can read it. But one of the fun games to play, especially now that a movie's coming out, is you can ask people, oh, you're going to go see Rogue One? And they're like, no, I don't like Star Wars. One of the fun things to do to those people is say, well, how much do you really know about it? And I guarantee you, these people who claim to hate it, claim not to know anything, Star Wars has leaked so far into American pop culture that I bet you somebody who doesn't know Star Wars, doesn't like Star Wars, will say, well, Darth Vader's like his father, and him and Leia, she's got the buns, and there's a guy with a giant Wookiee, and he goes, ah, and they'll spit facts out to you. It's a really interesting read or listen if you want. I really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed this time here. Star Wars. Of course, I'm trying to vary out these live. I'm still thinking about doing Monday through Friday. 4:30 seems good. I want to get into more video production, so I might start YouTubing as well to try to get cuts in there. I'm liking the live. I'm liking having to think on my feet. I think that's great. The viewer response is getting more and more. That's awesome. Keep sending in questions, comments, so we can keep riffing off each other. If not, I'm just going to get up here and talk about Star Wars, which is fine with me as well, because who doesn't love to talk about Star Wars? In the meantime, I'll keep you posted. Thanks for showing back up. I've been Nick James for Gluttons for Geekdom Live. Take care, guys, and, of course, may the Force be with you.